The Gita 2, Part 2. No, Arjun, the mind that succeeds is the mind that is concentrated. The minds that are taken up with 2000 subjects have their energies dispersed. Some can talk flowery language and think there is nothing beyond the Vedas. They want to go to heaven. They want good things through the power of Vedas, and so they make sacrifices. Such will never attain any success in spiritual life unless they give up all these materialistic ideas. That is another great lesson. Spirituality can never be attained unless all material ideas are given up. What is in the senses? The senses are all delusion. People wish to retain them in heaven even after they are dead, a pair of eyes, a nose. Some imagine they will have more organs than they have now. They want to see God sitting on a throne through all eternity, the material body of God. Such men's desires are for the body, for food and drink and enjoyment. It is the materialistic life prolonged. Man cannot think of anything beyond this life. This life is all for the body. Such a man never comes to that concentration which leads to freedom. The Vedas only teach things belonging to the three gunas, to sattva, rajas, and tamas. The Vedas only teach about things in nature. People cannot think anything they do not see on earth. If they talk about heaven, they think of the king sitting on a throne, of people burning incense. It is all nature, nothing beyond nature. The Vedas therefore teach nothing but nature. Go beyond nature, beyond the dualities of existence, beyond your own consciousness, caring for nothing, neither for good nor for evil. We have identified ourselves with our bodies. We are only body, or rather possessed of a body. If I am pinched, I cry. All this is nonsense, since I am the soul. All this chain of misery, imagination, animals, gods, and demons, everything, the whole world, all this comes from the identification of ourselves with the body. I am spirit. Why do I jump if you pinch me? Look at the slavery of it. Are you not ashamed? We are religious, we are philosophers, we are sages, Lord bless us. What are we? Living hells, that is what we are. Lunatics, that is what we are. We cannot give up the idea of body, we are earthbound. Our ideas are burial grounds. When we leave the body, we are bound by thousands of elements of these ideas. Who can work without any attachment? That is the real question. Such a man is the same whether his work succeeds or fails. His heart does not give one false beat even if his whole life works is burned to ashes in a moment. This is the sage who always works for work's sake without caring for the results. Thus he goes beyond the pain of birth and death. Thus he becomes free. Then he sees that his attachment is all delusion. The self can never be attached. Then he goes beyond all the scriptures and philosophies. If the mind is deluded and pulled into a whirlpool by books and scriptures, what is the good of all these scriptures? One says this, another says that. What book shall you take? Stand alone. See the glory of your own soul and see that you will have to work. Then you will become a man of firm will. Arjun says, who is a person of established will? Krishna answers, the man who has given up all desires, who desires nothing, not even this life, nor freedom, nor gods, nor work, nor anything. When he has become perfectly satisfied, he has no more cravings. He has seen the glory of the self and has found that the world and the gods and heaven are within his own self. Then the gods become no gods, death becomes no death, life becomes no life. Everything has changed. A man is said to be illumined if his will has become firm, if his mind is not disturbed by misery, if he does not desire any happiness, if he is free of all attachment, of all fear, of all anger. As the tortoise can draw in his legs and if you strike him, not one foot comes out. Even so, the sage can draw all his sense organs inside, and nothing can force them out. Nothing can shake them, no temptation or anything. Let the universe tumble about him, it does not make one single ripple in his mind. Then comes a very important question. Sometimes people fast for days. When the worst man has fasted for 20 days, he becomes quite gentle. Fasting and torturing themselves have been practiced by people all over the world. Krishna's ideas is that all nonsense. He says that the senses will for the moment recede from the man who tortures himself but will emerge again with 20 times more power. What should you do? The idea is to be natural, no asceticism. Go on, work, only mind that you are not attached. The will can never be fixed strongly in the man who has not learnt and practiced the secret of non attachment. I go out and open my eyes. If something is there, I must see it. I cannot help it. The mind runs after the senses. Now the senses must give up any reaction to nature. Where it is dark night for the sense bound world, the sense controlled man is awake. It is daylight for him, and where the world is awake, the sage sleeps. Where is the world awake? In the senses. People want to eat and drink and have children, and then they die a dog's death. They are always awake for the senses. Even their religion is just for that. They invent a god to help them, to give them more women, more money, more children, never a god to help them become more godlike. Where the whole world is awake, the sage sleeps. But where the ignorant are asleep, there the sage always awake. In the world of light, where man looks upon himself not as a bird, not as an animal, not as a body, but as an infinite spirit, deathless, immortal. There, where the ignorant are asleep and do not have time, nor intellect, nor power to understand, there the sage is awake. That is daylight for him. As all the rivers of the world constantly pour their waters into the ocean, but the ocean's grand, majestic nature remains undisturbed and unchanged, so even though all the senses bring in sensations from nature, the ocean like heart of the sage knows no disturbances, knows no fear. Let miseries come in millions of rivers and hundreds, and happiness in hundreds. I am no slave to misery, I am no slave to happiness.